Today we're going to talk about weights. All right, let's go. This is Brian Davis, Races, Bikes, and you can too. Today we're going to talk about incorporating weightlifting into your cycling, what it's done for me, why you should do it, and some really critical tips on how to incorporate it, what moves to do, and what equipment you're going to need. So if you're interested in that subject, even a little bit, even if you just think, maybe I should lift a little bit of weights to improve my cycling, stick around for the rest of this video. Before we get going, I'm going to ask you to smash that like button, subscribe, leave a comment. What are you doing to sustain your muscle mass, especially as we get a little bit older year after year after year? I'm going to give you my number one tip to incorporate or to starting a weightlifting program, and this is probably the number one thing that people screw up that gets them off the rails before they even get started. And then I'm going to give you a few more tips to like just getting the program right. Then I'm going to show you exactly what I do in terms of exercises, alterations I've made to the exercises, and then I'm going to give you a little bit of a clue as to how these things have helped me become a better cyclist just in the 6 months since I started doing these exercises. Sound good? Let's do it. Okay, tip number one. The most important thing to getting a strength training program off the ground, I want you to pull out your calendar, pick 2 days that you're going to do a strength program. Don't worry about the research. Don't worry about trying to get the last 10%. Just pick 2 days that you think you can work it in. So for me, it's Tuesdays and Thursdays most typically. Get your calendar out, establish a plan, because without a plan, you will definitely fail. Tip number two. I want you to lay that plan out with the specific exercises that you're going to do and how much weight you're going to add, but I want you to have this mentality going into this first planning session. I want you to be painfully bored by the exercises that you're going to select and the weights that you're going to be using for quite a while. I want your first 2, 3, 4 weeks even to be so lightweight and basic that you can't even believe this is doing any good. The reason for this is we want your form to get right, and we want you to start a base for building upon, a foundation, if you will. So we're going to add really light weights just to kind of get the body used to it, get some new muscles activated, and then we're going to start kicking it up a notch after that. Tip number 3 to establishing a strength program for your cycling is to commit to it mentally. So you've put it in your calendar. You've created a plan that makes sense with some progression to it over the course of the off season or some maintenance through the course of in season. Like you're using your brain to put together a program. But now I want you to actually commit to getting this plan done. If it shows up in my training peaks, I always get those mixed up. If it shows up in my training peaks, I will get it done. So if anyone in my life wants me to actually get something done, throw it in training peaks and it will happen. So with strength, I made up my mind that I will not miss a strength session. I don't care if I miss a recovery spin on the bike, doesn't matter. But if I miss a strength session, I'm pretty pissed at myself for letting that go. Okay? Now, let's talk about the specific exercises that I do. We're going to go through my entire routine, and I'm going to talk to you a little bit about tips and tricks with form and weights, and then during that conversation with the voiceover, I'll also be able to give you some idea of the amount of equipment I have and the specific pieces that I'll be showing you that we're going to work out with. So, let's work out.
All right, we're going to start off with squat jumps. Now, this does 2 things. It gets your muscles activated, and it gets you sort of cardio warmed up. So it's a great way to start the program. Usually about 6 of these. Take a break. It's really important to take your breaks between the exercises. Then Coach Zach has me move into step-ups, and you can see I do that with a 20-pound kettlebell. So in terms of equipment, I have a 20-pound kettlebell, a 45-pound kettlebell, and then a couple 10-pound dumbbells. But you can get those at a thrift store. You can pick them up at a local shop. You can buy them on Amazon. And then this thing is really critical. This box, plyometric box, is awesome. So I picked that up on Amazon. Like you saw there, it was like $80. It is super, super helpful, nice and stable. You're not doing this on the back of a chair. You can see you can grab these kettlebells on Amazon as well. But the Bulgarian Split squat is a critical exercise. If you're only going to do one exercise for strength training, this would probably be the one. Now, my form here, probably not perfect. I feel like my back should be a little bit more upright, but whatever. And my knees probably shouldn't be going over my toes. I feel like it's pretty close. Maybe they're not over. I don't know. I think I'm okay. What do you guys think? Leave a comment down below. How's my form look to you? Anyway, you're going to do this 3 different rounds. 3 different rounds. So I wanted to talk about like the results of all this strength training for me. So it's too early in the season to tell how all this is going to benefit me in the long run. Or going into the season, but we spent a lot of time in the off season through cyclocross season really focused on the weights to the exclusion of some other things. So I am able to put out 1,000 watts on Zwift. Never been able to do that before. No changes to the bike, the trainer, setup, none of that stuff. So anyway, I'm really happy with that, and I can't wait to get out on the road and see how that all this strength stuff benefits me when I have to actually activate my core and sprint with my whole body and all those types of things. So outside, I can do 1,500 watts. Indoors, never been able to crack 1,000. Now I can. My Zwift racing, massively improved. Really not huge changes in my program for fitness other than adding strength. Big change. And just my overall fitness in general as a human, I feel much stronger. So that example program I put back a few minutes ago, you might want to rewind and take a look at that, make some notes. That's a good starting place. And those last 2 exercises are kind of placeholders. So either you're going to do something for, well, I would encourage you to do something for your glutes and something for your hammies. So the planks, I've come a long way with planks. We did a test the other day. I was able to do a 3-minute plank. Never been able to do that before in my life, like not even close. So really happy with the plank progress. Push-ups are slow. You can see a minute ago I warmed up my arms before I started doing push-ups, but that's a good thing. That's really going to help with the sprinting, to be able to grab those bars and just torque on them. And then the Russian twists, you're going to do like 20 of those. And then you can see here I start looking backwards. That makes it much harder. I think in a second I'll start. There you go. I start looking backwards. That makes it much harder. There it is. It makes it much harder when you do that. So form is really important, and these videos are actually super interesting to me because I'm like, oh, look what I've been doing wrong. So very helpful. Again, I know you're watching this and you're thinking, okay, I'm going to do it. I can't tell you how important it is to get on the calendar and put it in there. Otherwise, you really won't do it. And then we take about 3 minutes rest between sets and about 30 seconds rest between each exercise, just to give you some idea. And those 3 minutes are really important to recharge the glycogen. The whole program takes me about 45 minutes, depending on how heavy the weights are as we do our progressions or regressions. The heavier weights take me a long time because it just is exhausting. I like using one of these little foam mats because then you get a really consistent spread on your push-ups, and you also on this goblet squat you get a really consistent spread, so your legs are always at the same point. And I think that's been helpful to just reduce question marks in my head, that trying to keep things as consistent as possible. So I'm in one of my Airbnbs here. It's perfect for me because I don't have to clean. They're always perfectly clean, so that's awesome. And I picked up this Power Systems heavy band to do these glute exercises. If you're interested in glute exercises, I'd encourage you to follow Google Dr. Tim Wu, SoCal Bike PT. He was on the vegan cyclist trip and ran us through this program for glute exercises. Super helpful if you're having any sort of knee pain. And actually, that's why I changed the last 2 exercises in this group. I was having some knee pains when I was doing walking lunges, so I booted those out, and I exchanged those for some hamstring work and this glute work that you just saw. So it's been really impactful for me, and I actually have gotten to the point where I really look forward to the strength program just because it's a little bit different than the bike, and I can eat a lot more stuff on days I do strength because my body's just rattling through calories, so I'd encourage you to think about that. So again, start out really simple, really lightweight. Do that for a few weeks. Get a very solid program that you don't have to change a lot. I think change is the enemy of consistency. So keep it very consistent. Prioritize consistency over creativity in this case. So keep it simple. All right, that's it, man. That's it for the workout. We are all done. Let's wrap it up.
You guys know which way the beach is? I thought it was over there, but somebody told me it was over there. Woo-wee! All right, race fam, that's it. I got a few more to do because I cut her short for the camera on some, but that's it for today. So, number 1 tip, pull out your calendar right now, throw it in your days, never end, on repeat, throw it in there, find 3, 6, 9 exercises that you think you'll enjoy, and start very slow, and then mentally commit to getting the job done, and you'll be much faster. Bigger watts, better muscular endurance, feeling better after and during races, recovering faster, and just feeling like an overall stronger young man. All right, thanks for watching, everybody. I really appreciate it. Okay, bye.